Were you constantly on the lookout for new stuff, or perhaps exchanging gear with your fellow musicians in the scene you were in?
Well, in a way, yes. We were always looking out for something new because, in a way, electronic music has always been and still for me is about sort of like trying to break the boundaries on all levels. That means on the creative level as much on the level of using the latest available technology.
You have done a lot of collaborations throughout your whole career. Was there perhaps in the beginning a collaboration of which you thought, wow, I have so much more to learn because what this guy is doing I can't do for myself yet?
It was not actually about sort of like I have so much more to learn. It was more, in order to create all my sounds, I had to get really creative because back then those machines didn't really do that. And so sometimes my studio looked like a spider web, cables going like from one side to the other. And then I think it was in '96, I met Brian Trenceau, BT. And we were, just immediately hooked on, it's like talking about sounds, about all this stuff. And I realized he works the same way. He's just a freak if it comes down to sounds, just as much as I am. And then I realized, okay, that gives me self-confidence. I always thought, okay, there must be a way of doing this any other way, but it wasn't back then. And, as an example, those big sort of electro-farty sounds that come out of every synthesizer and that pretty much are featured on every single production these days. We didn't have those back then. The way how Brian and I did it was really crazy. We used a normal jack cable, put it into a guitar distortion, shortcutted it on the other hand, sampled it, then tuned it to a note, and this is how we got our sounds. Something that's available to everybody just like this. Back then we had to be really adventurous about it.
These spiderweb days, so to say, they are gone now, right?
Absolutely. I mean, these days you can actually like go straight into the creative process about composing and about bringing things across. So it is on one hand faster. On the other hand, of course, it gives you much more space to be really creative with things because you don't need to waste so much time about actually, it's like when you have a sound in your head and it takes a week to just basically have the physical standards going on, so you get the sound, that's obviously a lot of wasting time.
You don't miss those days of fiddling around with cables and stuff?
Oh, I still fiddle around, it's not that it's like, everything, comes pre-programmed, and it's just like, much easier these days, with the machines that are available. There's sort of like the general sound quality and sound creation elements are much better, of course, these days.
Talking about the evolution of electronic dance music, what decade had a more direct impact on you, the 90s or the 2000s? There's no dividing between those because it's, as I said, it's a constant process of like progressing. It's an evolution basically. Yeah. Are there recent developments that you don't like or that are affecting the electronic dance music in a wrong way to your opinion?
I mean, there's like, it's with every musical genre. There's music that actually, you like, and there's music that you don't like. And that's the same with electronic music. But the thing is, and this is what I think is so exciting about it, there's so much fantastic, phenomenal electronic music out there that I'm not even thinking about the stuff that I, might don't like.
Okay, one last question. How much of the early 90s Berlin it still resonates in the music you make nowadays?
Everything. It's like, I can actually make the poppiest track in the world. With a big pop artist, you're still gonna actually hear the dirty, smelly basement clubs from Berlin.
Yeah, but how so? How so? Can you describe it?
I don't know. It's just like it's somehow, it is like there's always this element. It's like even I'm, doing a very sort of crisp and clean production, there's still this element of like roughness and directness to it. It's like, it's the intensity of the music, I believe, that sort of is that element that's always in there.
Okay, how does that intensity come across on Evolution? Can you say that? Can you pinpoint that?
Well, it is in every single track, It's basically, it's like it's a core element of what I do, of what my music sounds like, of my, composing process. It's like, it's all done with that. I mean, the first club that I DJ'd in was obviously Tresor in Berlin, it was a smelly, stinky basement hall.
You don't see that too much now, do you?
Well, sometimes actually it's like, there's still kind of like, pretty sort of like basic setups, but, most of the time now it's obviously, that's part of the development of electronic music. Now it doesn't need to be sort of, hiding away anymore in some basement. It's on the big stages, in big venues.
That's what evolution should be like, right? Getting better all the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.